I'm here to talk about insurance.
Nice reaction there.
That's around about as excited as it gets. Watching paint dry. Now, people think it's money wasted. They think those insurance companies are taking all my money and they've made money out of me, they've made 100% profit out of me. It's not quite the case. These are not specific percentages, but this is to show you where your insurance goes. Part of it is in insurance tax. There's an element of tax we pay to the government, 6% on normal insurance, 20% on travel insurance you pay to the government. 20% of your travel insurance premium goes to the government. Insurance have to pay reinsurance costs because they have to offload the risk to other insurers to insure their risk. Insurers are like a bookie. You're placing a bet. An underwriter is betting that you're not going to have a claim. They pay us, a brokerage. Ignore that massive graphic segment. They have to pay the broker for doing his job. Then they have cost administration. They've got offices, they've got staff, post, telephones. They have to run the business. Investment. They have to invest into their company going forward and making sure that they're going to be there and developing new products and making sure they're running with the country to make sure that they've got products to cover everyone. And then hopefully they'll have a bit of profit left as well, because that's what we're all in business for. It's all about risk. Insurers are taking a risk that you're not going to have a claim. Now, the main risk, fire. That one was Buncefield. Trips, we all have liability claims, people falling over, in a hotel, in your workplace. Break-ins, thefts. I thought that was Ray Snow down there, but there we go. Floods. These are all claims where the insurers, if they pay out, that profit margin sector gets smaller and smaller. That is a definitive amount they've got to play with. They've got their admin costs, they've got their tax costs and everything like that. The more we claim, the more that bit goes down, and therefore they have to budget for it in the future years. Also, another thing, you've got your fire, your floods, storms, etc. This was something I found out, obviously on Buncefield, when that went up. After the initial payout for the claim, the damages to clear up, it was then found out that health and safety and all the powers that be went to the people who ran the place and found them guilty of violations of health and safety, etc. 4 month trial, St Albans Crown Court, concluded in 2010, 5 companies found guilty and ordered to pay a total of £9.5 million in fines and costs. That's not covered by your public liability insurance. That would be under separate covers, but a lot of us, not saying as big as this, but a lot of us have claims for breach of health and safety, employment tribunals, etc. That is not under your normal public liability or employer's liability cover. That is directors and officers cover, which is something that we should all consider, which I'll talk about later today. What I've done here, you won't be able to see it too well on here, unfortunately couldn't explode it too big. When I go and see a client, I have to obtain as much data about them as I can to find out what they do, and to make sure the risk is good or bad for the insurer. So I've got 2 here. We've got the K-Way Limited, you can ignore the names, and MN Enterprises Limited. One's good, one's not so good. I'll read them out because you won't know how to read them too well there. One's in the perfect building in Southend, the other one's got an old shed in the dead end road in Liverpool. So if you think you're the underwriter, you're taking the bet. Which one would you prefer? Then we go down, that one's been trading for 22 years. That one just started, got no track record at all. This one is in a commercial unit in a well-established industrial estate in Southend. This one's in a wooden unit with inside a farmer's bit of land out in the middle of nowhere. So more chance of a thief breaking in and not being noticed. Going a bit more, trade processes, welding, they both do the same thing, so to give you an idea of, they're both in the same sector, so which one would you prefer to insure? This one, they do welding, cutting and steel fabrication, that's what you do. This one, construction of the building, built of brick. This one, built of timber. This one has got a roof made of non-combustible, it's a non-combustible apex roof. This one's got a felt on timber roof. This one here, the floors are concrete. This one here, the floors are timber. Mick will know when he looks at commercial premises, these are all important factors. We have to look at the fabric of the building, combustible linings, composite panels. If a building's got composite panels, that's another thing that fire brigades don't like, so insurance companies don't like them, because they burn and are very, very dangerous for the firemen themselves. If you've got a building with composite panels in, the chances are if it catches fire, the fire brigade will just they won't be able to get inside it, they'll just have to contain it from the outside and let it burn to the ground. We then look at the fire and perils, which is another risk. The fire and perils, we look at security, we look at the business interruption. Fire and perils, storage arrangement, how things are stored in the premises, waste, what you do with your waste, how often you get rid of your waste, whether you allow smoking in the premises, have you got any flammable liquids, hazardous chemicals, whether you do any paint spraying, how you heat the building. This one, he's got mains gas. This one, he's got a gas blower, fire, little portable fire that sits in the middle of the place with a spare gas bottle beside it. This one here, he's had his electrical inspection done, he's had his electrics tested and certified in 2012 by Glendenning Electrical. This one here, no, he hasn't bothered. This one over here, fire extinguishers, which are under a maintenance contract. This one, he's got fire extinguishers out of date, haven't been serviced for 3 years. This one over here, fire brigade within 2 miles of the premises. So again, think of a fire, how quickly people can respond. Fire brigade, this one is in the middle of the farmer's field, 15 miles away. This one here, security. Yes, he's got an alarm. It's maintained, part of the Payway Group, the Payway Group PLC. And it's got a Red Care GSM alarm, one of the best you can get. This one, no, don't need an alarm. I'm not going to get broken into. No worries. Okay. Physical securities, lock gates to yard, roller shutters, secured by a close shackle padlock. Again, if I tell the underwriter that, it gives him more of an idea of how secure and the less risk he's taking, as against this one who's just got general padlocks to wooden doors. Target goods, we have to tell them what the goods are inside. Metal fabrications, got the chance I might have non-ferrous metals, small tools. These are the stuff that thieves like. Business interruption. We have to look at what happens if you do have a claim, how quickly you're going to get back up again. Have you done a disaster recovery plan? Have you backed up your computers? This one, he's had his computers backed up by Res Infotech and they're off site. This one, no, he hasn't bothered, it's all right. Health and safety. This is the biggest thing with everybody. Claim for health and safety is one of the biggest worries of insurers. If you employ people, this is the problem you can possibly have. This one here, he's got a written health and safety policy that's been communicated to all the staff. Now, if you've got 5 employees or more, it has to be by law a written health and safety policy. This one over here, no, he's not interested in health and safety. My guys won't make a mistake. This one over here, who's responsible for it? Mr. K. Vorley is responsible for health and safety. What's his position and experience in the firm? He's the managing director and he's NEBOSH certified. So he knows what he's doing. So the more I can tell insurers, the less the risk the insurers are taking. When was it last reviewed? Inside the last 12 months they've reviewed it. I'll skip through a lot of these as we run in short on time, but they do safety trainings given, induction records are kept and done and communicated to the staff. Personal protective equipment is provided to all the staff and recorded. And a specialist register has been done on the building. It is a legal requirement, Mick will hopefully back me up on this, a legal requirement for all commercial premises to have an asbestos register. Penalties, if you don't have an asbestos register, you can be fined up to £20,000 and possible imprisonment for up to 6 months. Action records are kept, machinery is maintained. And then we go into public liability. This one, there's no unusual exposures. He can trace where all these goods come from, where all this stuff comes from and where it goes to. This guy, he designs nuts and bolts but we found out these nuts and bolts are holding together the oil refinery, the flanges on the oil pipes in the oil refinery. So it's a massive, great big problem if they go wrong. This one has had a claim, employee injury to the eye through welding, with a £40,000 claim outstanding. This one, cleans whistle, because he's done everything he's said in the past, has got no claims. Which one, if you're an insurer, which one would you prefer to insure? That's Grace Corporate, here to ensure you insure correctly. Any questions?
For Tony, please. Any questions, guys?
It's not a question, I just wanted to give Tony a testimonial, because we use Tony, he covers pretty much all of our buildings insurance for all the probate properties we do. And he makes it such a simple process that, you know, the assistants can just pick up the phone, give him almost the address and running through some details, and he then talks them through it and helps them out from there, so we don't need anyone other than Tony now. It's just, he makes it so simple, so thank you for that. So a bit of time that saves us. We could obviously rent money elsewhere. So.
Cheers.
Again, Tony talks about corporate work. Tony does, well, he does tell you, but what I've found this week, Tony's detail and commitment to the group is phenomenal. Because I have an elderly mother in her 80s who's had an insurance renewal for buildings and contents come up. Cancelled it for because it's far too much involved in a bank. So it's extortionate money for not a lot of cover with Tony, was it? And Tony was kind enough to go around, sort it out, save my mum a lot of money, and it was personal attention and care and the confidence he gives to people as well. So I would happily recommend Tony to anybody for any part of any insurance needs. Tony?
Thanks, sir.
Anybody else, please, guys? Stuart?
I was going to say, who would be your ideal client, and if I know them, what am I going to say to them?
My ideal client is a nut and bolt manufacturer, somebody who needs what we call a commercial combined policy, needs the liability cover, needs the fire cover, needs the theft cover, needs the directors and officers cover, needs advice on health and safety. Someone who's had a bad experience, who's not sure on what he needs, or he or she needs, and I can go along and I can dig. I'll go through all those questions and more to find out what they do, where their product ends up, where they get the stuff from. So a lot of stuff, he might buy stuff in from China. Now, it's all to do with chains and liability and where we can pass down the line. If products come in from China or places like that, it's far harder to find out where, if there's a problem with that product, to chase the people in China than it is if we bought from somebody in the UK or France or somewhere in Europe. So I can help through everything that they need and advise them on what they should have. They may not buy everything they need. They might say, no, I don't want to insure that, but at least we can advise them.
One more question, guys? Go ahead.
Can I echo Kev's comment? I've already mentioned this once, but my sister was paying £888 for a small bungalow insurance, and Grace Corporate have managed to get that down to around about a little over £200. She was being ripped off because she was an old lady, and she's very grateful to Grace Corporate. Thank you.
Wait 2 minutes, Tony. Well done.